So BioX is agnostic about the field. We support all kinds of things that are welling up. I mean, you could imagine the theme of the microbiome, themes of data science welling up, neuroscience welling up. So what we like to think of is that the building is a home for collaborative interactions and also for incubating. It incubated the Department of Bioengineering, for example. That was the first incubator. That was so wildly successful, it moved out. But not everybody moved. And that's interesting. Same thing is true now for the Neuroscience Institute. There are people like me and others that are not going to move into the new neuroscience building. That would be a disaster. Then we just make another silo.
Right.
So this building I see as a kind of incubator, and it needs to have many different disciplines represented in the building, almost like, since it's called the Clark Center, I call it the Noah's Clark Center. It's, sort of the ark where you have two of everything in the building. And it should stay that way. And I think it's very hard to do this. It's much easier. It's just much easier if you're just working on a single discipline. Then we create resources that have to do with making new technologies that have been discovered by BioX members and Clark Center members available quickly to our community before you can buy them off the shelf. And again, to make it so that the building doesn't seem like a silo, but rather it's a place that people also feel they could come to use resources. We have something called the Optogenetics Innovation Lab, which is an amazing lab that teaches a new technology of controlling the activity of cells by genetically putting into those cells a photopigment that's like what's in your eye, that takes light and transduces it into a chemical signal in the cell. So you can make the cell do what you want by shining light on it. They're a very powerful research tool in many fields, and at the moment, they're also being used in clinical trials to see about restoring sight to blind people who have retinal blindness. It was invented here in this building by Carl Diceroff, who I hope someday will get the Nobel Prize for this work. Carl is an amazing person, and he will tell you, in the spirit of being part of BioX, is you invent, you perfect, and you share. And he's an amazing example of that. And we helped him to do it by creating a space in this building where he could train people from all over the world, but also Stanford students and faculty, and not have to.
Extension of what we first found, and so gratifying. It shows that you can change the cell's function and potential. What's missing now is a mechanistic understanding of how that happens. And so I've gone back to this old tool of cell fusion to understand the cascade of regulators, the network that lead up to this shift in pluripotency. And I think we have a unique chance to discover those underpinnings. So I'm working with some of the best bioinformatics people here on campus in the genetics department, like Anshul Kundaji. And again, I'm learning through this multidisciplinary approach, and my team of young people, students and postdocs, are so bright and creative. We're making wonderful strides. I also am really interested in taking this idea of bioengineering further, bioengineering niches, so that we can understand stem cell function and enhance the function of stem cells through understanding their microenvironment, the external signals that impact their function. And I'm really interested in rejuvenation strategies. Maybe it has to do with getting older, but I want to understand how to rejuvenate cells and rejuvenate function. And we've come up with new ways to extend telomeres. Telomeres are the protective caps on chromosomes, and they get shorter as we age. We've developed a method now in the lab for extending telomeres, reverse that clock on aging. And this will have tremendous utility, I think, for using cells. So having the close proximity enhances the chances of collaboration and multidisciplinary research. So the medical school in close proximity to engineering, artificial intelligence, chemical, bioengineering, that's a great attribute of Stanford.